All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Thursday, March 11th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check, and by quick, I mean quick. Make sure everybody can hear me loud and clear. I want to hop right into the FINV trade. We have so much moving right now to close out today. Hopefully, we have a really strong final hour ahead. Sometimes we'll run into an afternoon right now at 2:30 where we have a lot moving, but not everything ends up moving as well heading into the final hour. So hopefully we have a really strong hour ahead of us here, folks. Great to see Philip, Lewis, Cliff, who I want to give a shout out to in just a moment. Felix, Bonnie, who I also want to give a shout out to in just a moment. Kathleen, and all of our students live inside our trading room, all of our members on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, welcome on back. So just, we have the market up and up again today with good reason this time. I know that Biden ended up just signing off on the COVID relief bill right now. I think that he'll make some announcement tonight, some speech. So we'll see what that brings with the market ahead for tomorrow. But nonetheless, clear skies ahead. I mean, literally, figuratively, it is 65 and sunny here in Long Island. So the second the market closes here today, I know where I'll be. But for right now, no better place to be than right here, right now, making money with you folks. So for right now, the FINV trade, squeezing up beautifully. It's not like just because the market's going up. I'll take a quick look on Benzinga Pro just for the news, but hey, we don't necessarily need to have the news out just to make money on a trade like this. We ended up seeing this make like a very sneaky but steadily move throughout the afternoon, the early afternoon, and then all of a sudden just the roof blew off once it popped above like 750, really. But you could see a lot on my chart here, 813. I slapped that on there just a moment ago. One of our students, Cliff, has been trading this like all throughout the morning, all throughout the afternoon, I should say. He ended up just picking up his last trade. I think he picked up like 50 cents. I don't know if he ended up re-entering from that point, but he was in right from that price. I think his entry was like 820. He picked up 55 cents on his trade. For what it's worth right now, though, still squeezing up pretty nicely. Hit a high right off 1061 and pulling back a bit, but still really strong in relation to its trend. And I always like to say this, if this ends up crapping out the other way, if we end up seeing this break below support or make a lower high and then break below support, then at that point, it could be a really good short opportunity to work with heading into the close. So, we're going to put this on our list just to begin the FINV trade. Take a look on Benzinga Pro right now. It looks like it was just earnings. Ooh, it's pretty interesting. I don't know what the deal is here. I want to check just once I finish this up, but normally Benzinga Pro, they're really good and up to date, like live feed of news coming out. They're really good with earnings. Once it's out, they'll post it. So they ended up posting the headline. It's like 12:34 in the afternoon, like smack in the middle of the day. Like no company's reporting midday like that. They said FINV reported earlier Q4 EPS. 26 cents up from 19 cents year over year. They ended up missing the sales actually, but we ended up seeing them make a huge pop, as I just said just before. So yeah, for the afternoon now, just keep a good eye on the 1050 level, 1060, the high of the day held pretty nicely just there. And for right now, just put this on our main watch list. Grant says 70 in Ohio in Ashtabula, if I got the pronunciation right there, Grant. Very nice day, he says. All right, perfect. So hopefully it's nice alongside, everywhere else. But, for right now, folks, I mean, honestly, we have so much moving right now. I want to just go right from top to bottom. I typically like to just jump to the top of the gainers list when we have class just to zip through. We don't have class. I'll take my sweet time here, but we just have so much moving. I don't really know where to start other than just with number one. So I think actually number one's the warrants. So really number two, the ENTX trade. Not going to put this on our list, but we'll talk about this at least from earlier, from the pre-market upon the market open. So, this squeezed up, what was this, like right at 7:30, or is this the 8 o'clock move? Oh, I was wrong, 8:30 even. Right at 8:30, we ended up seeing this just take off right out of nowhere from essentially $2, probably underneath even, but all the way up towards just about 8. And that was like right around 10:30, 11 o'clock Eastern time before it pulled back. So for the afternoon now, I would only expect this to keep breaking lower. But otherwise, at least from earlier today, it made for a fantastic pop, nice pre-market push. And then after the open, really minimal pullback, and then it shot up higher shortly after. The news out on ENTX, just really quickly, I'd like to just comment on it pretty quickly. Skyrocketing on positive phase 2 data, osteoporosis study. All right, so, keep it on your side list for tomorrow. Keep it on your side list for next week, perhaps, just given the range that we see here. We know that we'll call this out again at some point. I just don't want to hold my breath and, think when. It might be a long while, but just given the range, just keep it in mind, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps next week. All right, now we'll keep it pushing. The FINV was number 4. That was on the screen when we started the meeting, but we'll keep going here. Number 5, the NFVY or NVFY. My trader's dyslexia kicking in there, but pretty similar. Ended up popping early in pre-market. It was dumping off well before the market opened up, and then as soon as the market opened, that was it. So, we tend to see this all the time. For a stock up as much as this was leading into the open, it's still up 85, 86% right now. So it was well in the hundreds going into the open, right? So that's where I say we're not trying to hold those trades into the open. And then certainly we have to expect a pullback shortly after the market does open. So, that gives you time to try and anticipate a potential breakout, or if it ends up just dumping off, you just move on to another trade. Ooh, I did skip one here really quickly. I'm sorry. Actually, I was just skimming through. Skipped over timber. It's actually popping back up right now. Beautiful. All right, cool. So TMBR, we ended up seeing, as you could see, made a nice pop right around 12 p.m. Eastern time, broke out off its high of the day from 240. I mean, shot up pretty nicely from there. I think I had called this out when it was really like peaking up towards 250 or even 260. Just goes to show that, even if we're late to the party, it's still possible to get a good piece of the pie. You can't assume, but we'll take what the stock will give us. So it ended up maintaining a really nice trend into the resistance off of 3, pop and drop from there. But for right now, pushing back up. So the TMBR trade definitely put back on our list. Just take a quick look here. Timber, it's a pharmaceutical company. I don't have like the new snippet out on them, but I'm just looking at like what the company does. Biopharma company focused on the development and commercialization for treatments for orphan dermatologic diseases. It's always interesting reading these, like, companies, what they do, above my pay grade. I don't know much more aside from the headlines, but, just when you have the time to check in and see what they do, it's interesting. At least for right now, for anyone listening to this meeting, you folks shouldn't be digging into that news. That's what I'm here for. You folks should be focused on the resistance off of 3. You have a couple of bigger icebergs here on the ask. I saw off of 298 a moment ago, but really off of 3, 58,000 share seller. All right, so cool. Timber we'll put back on our list as well. The ENG we'll take a look at actually too. This one popped for us going into the mid-afternoon right around 1:15, 1:30 Eastern time. Pop from 5, essentially up to 7, held off 688. Volume is dying off right now, but just given the afternoon move, I don't mind putting this on our list for right now too. Maybe put this down towards the middle or bottom by the end of it all here, but we'll check back in with this one as well just by the time we finish the meeting up as well. TKAT squeezed up, kind of low volume. You can see that right there, just like a few bars, 20, 25,000 shares per minute. It's not a whole lot. I mean, I'm sure it's low volume anyway, low float, but just spotty chart afterwards, pulling back down a bit. OGI, I thought this was a pot stock, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it is. I don't know if this is earnings based or what. I know Tilray came out with news yesterday, so let's see. Organogram, OGI. Okay, so the news on this strategic partnership or investment from BAT, B-A-T, a company, for 19.9 equity interest. So that was the news out, at least from pre-market on the OGI trade. But for right now, I like this move heading into this afternoon, squeezing up pretty nicely from essentially 250, 260 up towards 390, 360, I should say, up towards 390. Yeah, actually, the way I kind of phrase it, it's like 78 million shares plus, well above its average. It already dumped off after the open. It's making that second wind up. I'll put it on the side for right now, at least. Check back in with this too. All right, we'll see what else we got here, folks. Super League Gaming, a couple of other familiar names making some moves up, or at least from this morning, if not right now. GWAC is a new SPAC focused on Bitcoin mining. I saw them come out earlier. Oh, whoops, this is the... there we go. I thought this was the one here, if I'm not mistaken, but ended up making a nice pop from 10 up towards 14 or 13, or not 14, 13.23-ish, and then pulled back down. Pretty spotty. XXII at the high of the day. That's a familiar name. AEZS, another one. Lizzie, another familiar name. This one kind of holding near its highs right now. 10.13 current price right now, high of the day off 10.40. I'd just say it's like pretty flat for the meantime, but ended up making a nice squeeze going into the early afternoon, right around 1 o'clock Eastern time, broke out from 10. So, I guess I'll kind of keep this in mind, keep it on the side as well with the OGI. Just got a big spread for right now. It's testing a resistance on the S. You have a couple of icebergs there, actually. I just saw one at $10.12 for about 20,000, and then at 10.26, you could, you still see that one there, 24,000 share order. All right, so we'll put this to the side list as well. So far on the main list, we have the FINV, Timber, and ENG. Those are the ones that made the cut so far. OCGN made a nice pop as well today. I mean, obviously the market moved up nicely. I always like to say this, when the market's up as much as we see here today, we're going to see a lot that's up with the market. But, we ended up seeing a lot of other stocks like just make some big moves from the morning. OCGN was from the late morning. NNDM was right away after the market opened up. I'll just jump ahead to that one. Up 15% still. BNGO, checking with that. This one looks pretty good. Right off the highs, approaching 950, 32,000 share order on the ask. Now it's squeezing up pretty nicely, just flipping through here for the most part. Michael brings up CAN, CAN. That's right. How could I forget, right? So CAN will put on our watch list easily, just with this trend breaking new all-time highs actually as well. We'll check in with EBON, another crypto mining stock, pushing up pretty nicely. It's up 8%, approaching 750. It took like, 11 cents on this trade earlier. I wanted a lot more. I ended up wasting a good portion of the profit, but I was in from 720. And when it dumped back down, it was really fast. So when it ended up squeaking back up a little bit, I got out right around like 731, right around there, and just it's been meddling on back up here since. But yeah, for right now, I'm making a better move here to 750 now. So we have EBON, we have CAN, FINV is another fintech stock. What else do we have? Mara, obviously. So yesterday, unfortunately, it's not to say I was right or wrong, because I was hoping to be, wrong with my main thesis yesterday. I was right, but it's just to say, going into the afternoon, unfortunately, we didn't see that rare pop to move up higher on Mara and Riot, the blockchains, Bitcoin altogether. But this will bring me to my Bitcoin chart right now. For any one of us live inside the trading room, if you can't see the chart up right now, I'll have it up in a moment. If you are able to see it, then good. But for right now, at least here in the meantime, we have the Bitcoin chart. Let me get full screen here. Because from yesterday, we saw a small dump off, but then with the market pushing up, the COVID relief bill being signed, this is a daily chart right now. This is Bitcoin really getting close to the all-time high here, right off of 58.3. So we're just less than 1,000 points out right now, or at least we were a moment ago. So, yesterday wasn't the day. Maybe today will be the day where I'm wrong. We see Bitcoin pop into the close today, if not the after hours. But I'm talking more so about the blockchain-related, Bitcoin mining-related stocks, whether that be Riot, Mara, CAN, EBON. All of those still look really strong, right? Out of all of them, at least still, I do like CAN and the EBON the most. Mara spreads are getting a little wacky. I put it on the list yesterday because it had a really good setup off resistance off 39.50. Just failed to break it. So for right now, CAN and EBON, I think I'll put on the main list there out of the Bitcoin mining stocks. Last one here, TIGR. We'll hop over to the losers list. I wouldn't expect for there to be much over there, but see what we got. TIGR pretty flat right now. Made a nice move from earlier this morning. All right, so what goes up, what goes down, right? Or what goes up comes back down, I should rather say. It's been a long day. So the AVEO trade, I still think there's a lot of room on the way down heading into the market close for this one. I only say that because we ended up seeing a couple of major levels on the run up yesterday on this trade. Specifically, we had, I think it was like right off of 1054, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I could actually get my chart up here right now. I had all my lines up on this screen from earlier today. Oh, actually, I'll tell you, my bottom line on this chart was right off of 13, I think, and 12.94. So for right now, we see this kind of pulling back lower towards 12 and just broke under and over it. Given the volatility, how can I not put this on our watch list just in general, given the range and the volatility, I should say. But, I still think there's more room on the way down for this trade. I thought I had a support off of 1050 or 1054 in particular from one of the halts from yesterday afternoon on this trade. So, at least for right now, just follow this on the way down. You have to respect the trend. Trust me, don't try and catch the falling knife. Maybe you can scalp it, but that's not really our intent here on this trade. So from the morning, it dove off really nicely, provided good opportunity for a bunch of us. But for the afternoon right now, for the final hour of the day, I don't mind refocusing on this trade here. Let's see, Fossil down 15.5%. My guess is earnings related. Actually, not even guess. I'm looking at my earnings whiteboard calendar above me here. I forgot. Yeah, Fossil ended up having earnings yesterday afternoon. Mavis too, MVIS. Dove off nicely after the open. So this one doesn't have as much opportunity, it seems, into the afternoon. Mavis, while I'm talking about it, popped from at least the early or late morning, early afternoon. All right. Maybe Cloudera, CLDR. Oh, CLD. Nope, that one's flat. I just see it on the losers list there. All right, so folks, if there's anything else up, down, left, right, more than 5%, let me know here in the chat board. I'm going to take a quick look on YouTube Live here first. I see from RJF, one of our regular attendees joining us here, picked up 25 cents just now on the PDSB, squeezing up nicely. He was in from 572 and did pretty well in the FINV just now. Nice. The PDSB I forgot to mention from earlier. How could I forget to mention this? It's up 58%. I probably just skipped over this, but hey, making your second little wind up right now. I wouldn't expect much more on this trade right now, given the move up, given the dump off. We always talk about that, but nice catch off the support. Good exit. I would only expect this to either stall out or pull back down here. And if I'm wrong, then hey, I'll be glad to trade it. It has good liquidity on the order book. Otherwise, I just think normally for a stock like trading barely or trading just under 1 million shares on average, trading 41 million right now, I'd say more exhausted. All right, so here from the Cyber Group room here, we have Bonnie making some good money. I wanted to give her a quick shout before. She's like killing it here on this SKLZ trade. It's up 8%. If you're scalping it, you're probably doing pretty well. It ended up making a nice move from 27.20-ish. I think that's where Bonnie originally got in. Right now, it seems pretty flat, though. I might put this on our side list, Bonnie. Congrats on your trades, though. Nice job. It looks like you have a good knack for the SKLZ trade here. All right, so I'll wrap it up. I don't have anything else from the chat board or anyone else on social media, but let me take a quick look on Benzinga Pro. See if there's any alerts popping up here. I got a good one. We'll see what the chart looks like at least, but definitely a familiar name. Jaguar, JAGX, ended up making a pop going into Monday early this week. Just a familiar name. We ended up trading this. I don't know. I forgot what the news was, but ended up making a huge squeeze from under $1 all the way over $4. Dumped back down, obviously, as you can see over the year. But for right now, I mean, hey, nice little push up. A lot of buying coming in. I feel like this reminds me of the Genius trade from yesterday. Unfortunately, Genius, where I left off on that one for us yesterday afternoon. I was like super interested in a breakout off of $2.30. We had so much buying off the 230 level by 2:30 in the afternoon here. It ended up holding to 230 perfectly as resistance after, dumped back down, and never ended up making a clean squeeze back up since. So, I'll keep the Jaguar trade kind of in mind, keep it on the side. I'll check out OGI, check out the Lizzie trade just before we finish up. Those were the other two I kind of said I'd check in with just at the end. Neither are doing anything. All right, FINV, I keep calling it FinViz. I don't know, just from the website. Finvolution Group, FinV, we'll call it. So this is still pushing up pretty nicely, trying to break a new high right now. So, folks, start and stick with this list, as I always like to say. I'll jump back on the mic myself for all of us live inside the trading room in just about 10, 15 minutes, from now. Aside from that, for all of us on Facebook Live, YouTube, make sure that you like, subscribe, notify just to know when we're going live, when we're not. And then aside from that, feel free to join us Monday to Friday live inside our Cyber Group trading room. Just go right to the link below, on the banner right there, just to sign up. All right, folks, I'll talk to you all. Talk to all of you live inside the trading room coming up pretty shortly. Take care.